Earlier here tonight, another man who just has not had enough ring action over the last couple of years. Wayne Alexander, a big talent and still potentially one of our most exciting fighters. Former British and European champion at light middleweight. Former WBO world title challenger indeed. And a little bit of pedigree in his opponent tonight, Christian Bladt of Denmark. Briefly reigned as European welterweight champion. Let's see how Alexander fared.
Well, Wayne Alexander has resurrected his career over the last year or so. He looked on the very brink of retirement when he lost to Delroy Mellis a while back, but he's avenged that, and of course, memorably, he knocked out Takaloo with a stunning left hook in a couple of rounds. Here he is in with a former European champion, Christian Bladt of Denmark, and a right hand decks Bladt straight away. There's the power of Wayne Alexander.
Well, without doubt, one of the most dangerous punchers in the country. That didn't even look as though it landed full blast. I wonder if Bladt's been caught a little bit cold, but it certainly was a good accurate shot, just a slip from Alexander, a little bit over-anxious, I think.
Well, he's always been able to hit, and hit very hard, Wayne Alexander. Former European champion himself, Bladt, who has slipped a little of late. He's showing a bit here. Not much head movement. He's getting caught by Alexander, who again loses his balance. Must be something wrong with the grip on those boxing boots, I reckon. Good body shot from Bladt, who's normally quite resilient, or was during his time as a welterweight champion. A brief reign, albeit, but Alexander looks very businesslike in there. He's looking for a fight with a decent American, they say.
Yeah, and as usual, he's a little bit reckless. That's what makes him so exciting. He doesn't bother too much about defence, as you can see here. And he's definitely having trouble. There's another good right hand from Alexander. Definitely having trouble with his footing. That could take away some of the punching power if the balance is not right. He's not gripping.
Can sometimes look a little fragile himself, mind you, Alexander. But as Jim was saying, that's why you daren't blink when he's around in the ring. Again, he slips. And that's, mind you, so does Bladt. That's a bit of a worry, isn't it, for later on?
The canvas, I think. You have to, if both fighters are slipping, you don't have to worry about the canvas.
Must be that, mustn't it? I wonder if it's a new one, a bit too shiny.
Yeah, well, Bladt seems to have warmed into things a little bit. It looks as though he'd just been caught cold and shocked with that opening right hand, but he seems to have his wits about him now, and he's firing decent punches back now.
Bladt's only had a couple of fights in the last 18 months, losing both of them on points. Quite a bad defeat, in fact, to a bloke who usually loses in Romania, Vasily Tszyu. He gets it with a body shot there, and Alexander rather lost his balance. Not a bad recovery from Bladt, who looked like he might get taken out in the opening minute when it started.
That was a decent right hand to follow the body shot. Caught Alexander fairly cleanly. Yep, Wayne has to think a little bit more about defence. He isn't a tremendous puncher, but he can't take too many chances, especially up at light middleweight.
And gets caught with a left hand there and a right hand as well. Just a little bit careless as the round has gone on here, Alexander. I think he was looking for something very spectacular early on. He did find it, but Bladt's come back pretty well at him. John Breen, who's taken over as the trainer these days of Wayne Alexander. He works out of Belfast now.
Yeah, he stepped in with a shot. Not a full blast punch by his own standards, but certainly strong enough to get that reaction. Yep, good punch. As I say, I think maybe caught Bladt a little bit cold. As soon as he landed, he was looking straight back up again. So his eyes were still clear, so he wasn't badly hurt. Kind of more embarrassed than hurt. But then you can see that the feet, that he's all over the place. We'd already seen Wayne Alexander do the same thing, so I wonder if some of the printing on the canvas is going to be a problem for the rest of the night. Hopefully not.
Well, you hope not on as big a night as this, don't you? That really would be a problem. It's like a skating rink in there at times in that first round. Here's the second round. Wayne Alexander, who believes he's been sharpened up by the experience of his shock defeat by Delroy Mellis. He was looking at the end of his career and has gone away and rededicated himself and believes that he still has a big championship level future. Does hold the WBU light middleweight title, which isn't that highly regarded in truth.
Wayne Alexander's stance looks a little bit wider than I've seen it in the past. Usually his balance is better. I remember him, his feet being a little bit closer together and shuffling, and see that might be another reason he's slipping. He's just slipped again as I was speaking there. But he wants to pay more attention to defence. He's too keen to get his own big punches on. And Bladt has turned things around here. He's boxing well.
Right hand gets through, just dropped his left glove, and Bladt took advantage of that. He's only got 7 knockouts on his 33-fight ledger, this Christian Bladt, so he's not known as a big puncher. When he won the European title, it was against Alessandro Duran on a 12-round split decision, but that was back in 2002.
Yeah, and he is a natural welterweight. I think he spent all his career at welterweight.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't expect it. He should be troubling Alexander, but these punches are landing cleanly, and any punches that land clean are going to give you problems.
Looking a bit leaky in defence, Wayne Alexander, but that has pretty often been the way with him. He was in a memorable fight for the WBO title against Harry Simon, 5 rounds, and he did pretty well that night as a late substitute before Simon proved a bit too much for him, as he proved too much for a lot of people during his heyday.
Yeah, Alexander, I don't know if it's the boots, the canvas, the problems, but he seems to have trouble getting close to Bladt here.
Bit of blood from it in his mouth as well, I think, Alexander.
Little signs of frustration now. He's throwing punches from too far out.
Oh, he's got him there, though, with a left hook. He caught him off balance. Silly little smile from Bladt. He knew he was caught by that. Another one tags him as well. But he does have a bit of dynamite in those gloves. He always has, Wayne Alexander, which is strange because he told me once he used to be just a hit-and-run stylist when he was an amateur in his early days.
And he certainly found some power, as I say, one of the most dangerous punchers in the country. And we've seen that a couple of times, especially against Takalu. That was a beauty. He's still struggling with his defence, still struggling to get close. I mean, this is an experienced fellow in front of him, and he's beginning to find a little bit of rhythm in his boxing.
Could be that Alexander's just going to hit too hard for him as this goes on, but it's interesting.
Right, son. See that. You're getting a bit wide. What are you out? The hips are giving him on in the ring. You're getting a bit wide. Don't be getting wide. Job. Move the head. You've got to move your head. And keep your legs out, man.
He's taking full-blooded shots. Bladt not a tremendous puncher, but you don't want to be taking too many of those clean on the chin. And Alexander has been on the deck a couple of times. See again that. I mean, I thought that the punch actually missed at the time. Yeah, it seemed to do. I think it was just plain and simple a slip followed by a stumble, and a little smile from Bladt at the end of it.
Smile of embarrassment, I think it was, wasn't it? He has become a bit of a loser, though, lately, Bladt, which is probably why they signed him for this mark-time fight for Wayne Alexander. They probably thought it was a safe enough proposition. It might not be. Here's round 3. Alexander with the name of his daughter Sade emblazoned on his trunks. He really misses her when he goes over to Belfast for the training for his fights. I do like the way Alexander, from looking completely shot, to be perfectly honest with you, when he was stopped by Delroy Mellis, has managed to rebuild his career to some extent anyway.
I'd like to see a bit more snap in Alexander's jab. He's kind of prodding with it. And even with it being out jabbed at times here. Certainly better with the right hand and the left hook, but a little more snap in the jab and maybe get him into the driving seat a bit quicker here. He's not reaching with the jab. Has to get himself just a little bit closer. I think the experience of Bladt is giving him some problems. Yep, coming back with some good work again.
Bladt's shown good durability here, shown a bit of pride. He needs a win himself, and he probably looks at this fight and thinks, well, this will be a decent one if I could beat somebody like Wayne Alexander, who's got a little bit of a name around Europe. He used to be a European champion himself, remember, Alexander. Never did defend it, as far as I can remember. Oh, it's a good right hand through the middle by Bladt, who's beginning to warm to the task here a bit.
Yep, Alexander hasn't found any form whatsoever in this round, struggling completely. Now he's throwing big, wide, wild shots. Nothing really working smoothly for him.
Get the impression with Wayne, don't you, that he's always looking for that big one, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, he knows he carries the power. Sometimes he certainly neglects his defences, and sometimes he neglects his boxing ability too. Getting close now, this is better.
Uppercut, opened up Bladt a bit, then some body shots. Bit of facial damage developing for Alexander, something over the right eye. I can't quite see what that is at the moment. Bladt comes back, it's a fair old contest. Some blood from the nose of Bladt, who rather walked onto Alexander's right hand.
Yeah, they both seem to land simultaneously there, but Bladt took the right hand well. Still a kind of ragged, untidy look about Alexander's work, but that was a good uppercut.
Yeah, there is a bit of damage by the right eye for Alexander. Decent fight. I mean, they couldn't be contesting this any harder if it was for the European Championship, could they, these two?
Well, this has been fairly nip and tuck so far, so Alexander could be doing with a strong finish here. Maybe just to impress the referee. But loads of problems, Bladt.
Getting marked up around the face, Alexander. Bit too easy to hit. And he's at the stage of his career where really nothing could be taken for granted, I think.
Get your head back, keep your head still. Keep your head still, give me a shield. Keep that, relax. Just keep your leg out. Relax yourself. Slow down and relax. This guy wants out here. No. Pick your shots. 1, 2, and roll your own head.
John Breen says this guy wants out. He didn't look like that to me.
Yeah, well, I didn't notice that, but sometimes you got to tell little fibs in the corner, but that sounded like one of them. No, but I think Bladt has settled well. I think he has more confidence now than he had when he heard the first bell. This was the good work from Alexander, but I thought throughout that round Bladt was giving as good as he was getting, the more solid punches coming from Alexander, but not enough to win the round for me.
Fourth round, black trunks. Wayne Alexander, former British and European champion. Been one of our best light middleweights for quite a long time now, and was quite a knockout specialist in the later stages of his amateur career as well. When he went to the ABA final in '94, he won all 5 inside a couple of rounds.
Well, Bladt started backing off without being forced back, so I wonder, is he maybe running out of steam a little bit? Has he been doing better than he expected to do? So what's his plans now? But he's a little bit more negative now than he was at the beginning of the last couple of rounds.
Well, Alexander would like to think that his extra power would start to take an effect on Bladt. He's shown plenty of spirit so far, the Dane.
I still get the impression he's struggling with his footing. You know, he doesn't seem to be gripping properly to get leverage into the punches. His jabs are falling short.
It's just a bit outreached, I think, in there, which could possibly be a factor in that. But he is, isn't he? He's not really snapping the jab because he's out of range with it, basically.
No, he just has an uncomfortable look about him. You know, every move he tries to make, as though there's no solid base to work from.
Blood from the mouth and damage over the eye for Alexander, who must have thought he was in for a nice early night when this started, and Bladt growing in belief and confidence, you feel.
He's picking them off nicely with the counters now. Alexander, his defences are poor, and his head movement is non-existent. He's still looking for that big right hand, but no signs of it coming. Yep.
Sharp right hand there again from
Jab
Bladt.
falls short, the jab falls short, and he's clipped with the right hand counter. Bladt really boxing well, slipping again, definitely problems with the canvas.
He'll have to have a look at that. That time he did block the left hand with the glove. Alexander, but his face is swelling up a bit alarmingly as this goes on.
This is not a good round for Wayne Alexander. Actually, this is one of these performances, and when they interview him after the fight, you hear them saying we didn't have any sparring, because he really looks, the timing's not there, the sharpness is not there, nothing is flowing. He's trying to force, and because of the forcing, he's beginning to go tired now.
Well, accidents will happen with these kind of fights from time to time. Nothing critical yet for Alexander, but it's beginning to look like a hard night's work, and he goes to lead with the right hand for a while, switches style.
I think he's been outboxed in this round, Ian. There he goes again. All the clean shots seem to be landing on his chin. His punches have been blocked. He's not looking the least bit happy or comfortable. Bad round for Wayne Alexander, and I think he knows it.
Half of the fight gone now, and I have it level. I gave the first two to Alexander and the next two to Bladt.
Breathing through your nose. Through your nose. Don't blow your nose. Keep the head still. Right now, come on. Keep the head still. Spit that and keep the head still now. Come on.
Keep it in, right. Put the arms out again. Put the legs out again. You're too tense, sir. You're too tense. Get loose. You won that round. You're in a minute.
Yeah, here we can see making mistakes. He's just not comfortable. I wonder if the footing is a problem. But the fact that the balance has not been there, he's been forcing his work. He's starting to show signs of tiredness now. And Bladt, more and more, looks like he really fancies this job.
Shorten your punches, okay? Shorten the punches when you're inside, okay? But keep
Alexander's landed a few more. I said I had it level. Of course, the first round was a 10-8 round with the knockdown. So, yeah, Alexander a point ahead. Correction there. Sorry about that. Here's the fifth round. Looks a bit of a mess, doesn't he? Alexander, that right eye's closing, I think, Jim.
Yeah, but it's just the overall look. He's not happy that he's clipped again. He's making so many mistakes. He's turned fights around before with one big, powerful shot. I think he's really going to have to do this now. Nothing going right for him.
What can he do here, Wayne Alexander? The alarm bells were ringing with that defeat against Delroy Malice, from which he has recovered in his career, although he was floored, of course, by Howard Clark, wasn't he, in the first round, and then won in the second of that fight. So you did worry then a little bit too. He's struggling a little bit with this opponent who probably came, and it looked like he'd become a bit of a travelling loser these days, the former European champion, but obviously he's got interested in this now, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Alexander's throwing silly punches now. He's throwing a jab and leaning his head in along with the jab. The jab's missing and he's being countered. Good right hand. But again, Bladt, who fancies the job much more now, is taking it well. This is turning into a little bit of a nightmare for Wayne Alexander.
He gets a leaping left hook home there, and then the right hand. He measured that okay. Alexander, here he comes, coming on a bit strong again. Body shot as well. The Dane backs away, doesn't fire anything back by way of a counter that time. Good little spell for Alexander. Now, can he keep it going? You bet he can, with a right hand. Cracking shot, vintage Wayne Alexander. Will Bladt get up from that one? No, this is going to be over. Counted out, all over. There's the answer from Wayne Alexander. He has the equaliser.
Well, he needed it badly. I was just saying that, and they supplied it. What a beautiful right-hand punch. It just seemed to spark into life. Suddenly the talent that we know he has seemed to come to the fore. He was driving Bladt back. The body shots were landing the hooks, and that beautiful right hand to finish. But what took him so long tonight? Why did he keep us on the edge of our seats like that? That's just what he's all about.
Don't moan about it, Jim. He's come up with an explosive win, hasn't he, in the end? I mean, that's what he's going to have to do, I think, at this stage of his career. We've got to be realistic. And he always did look vulnerable, even in the prime of his career, didn't he?
He was vulnerable, Ian, but he didn't box as badly as that. He wasn't so short of ideas. His timing wasn't so bad. I really still feel there was something wrong with his footing. But suddenly he burst into life. The jab seemed to start things off. Then he slipped in a beautiful right hand punch, bang on the chin. He does that automatically, doesn't have to think about it. But on my card, it began to look like he badly needed it, and he supplied it bang on time.
He's won it. He's won it in the fifth round by knockout. Alexander now 22 wins, 18 of them inside schedule against his two defeats. One against Harry Simon, no shame in that. The other against Delroy Malice, which was a big shock at the time. He's still on top of the light middleweight pile in Britain. Wayne Alexander, dramatic stuff.
I can't get up for these 8-rounders. I can't get up for them. I need big fighters. I need to fight for world titles, proper world titles. And all these 8-round domestic guys, European class guys, I can't get up for. I'm looking for the big boys.
I mean, it looked like you were in some trouble for a while. Your eyes closed then. Were you slipping on the canvas as well?
Yeah, the canvas was very slippery. I got new boots as well, but the canvas was slippery. I caught him in the first round with a good shot, and I rushed a bit. But round 2, 3, and 4, he started to like outbox me a bit. But I knew I'd get to him at the end, you know.
You've still got that natural power to always, it seems, get you out of jail. Talk us through the knockdown.
Yeah, I caught him with the same punch in the first round. You know, moved to my right. You know, slip past his left jab and throw it away. And John was telling me to do that, but move my head more. I wasn't moving my head enough. I was looking for it too much. But you know,
do you have to work on the head movement and the boxing skills if you are to go for a bigger title?
Think about it. I do it in the gym. In the gym all day long. I move my head, bob and weave, and slip and slide. And when I get out there, you know, I'm too determined to knock him out. But when I get in there with somebody who's favourite to beat me or a proper world champion, I think you'll see the best of me.
It's time for a big fight.
Definitely. Frank Warren's, like I said, brilliant promoter, and I know, you know, he can get me a big fight, you know.
There's one thing he's never lacked, and that's ambition.
Yeah. And
Is you right still to be ambitious?
With that power, he's genuinely got a chance against any fighter in the world. But he's one of those exciting hit or be hit fighters, and unfortunately,
it reminds me of you a bit in that way.
Oh, well,
he's getting beat up more than you do.
I think he punches. Yeah, he punches a little bit harder than I did, and he's probably, if I say so myself, a little bit more open than I was, because he tries to put so much into the punches. But you know, that's the style, and that's why he's so exciting.
He is always exciting. He was just starting to lose it a little bit, and he was just starting to lose his form as his footing. But he pulled it back with a beautiful punch, and how used to we are seeing Wayne Alexander do that. But it'd be lovely to get him a nice little payday with a good shot, certainly after what he did with Harry Simon.
He's always been exciting, hasn't he?